Good morning, everyone. It's Joker, and today we are back with another slime video. And today we'll be taking a look at the new free-to-play Hobgoblin Instructor Gobta with the Tempest Elite meta. So Gobta is actually a very good free-to-play unit. He doesn't bring like super big damage or debuffs or anything, but he brings a very good generic kit for any blue team in the game, whether it be stacking or burst. And that's because, his skills are very well tuned. And he is the first free-to-play character with an alt swap, which immediately brings a lot of value to him, because normally alt swaps are premium unit stuff, Warrior's Mind Rimuru, Summer Shizu, Blanc, Overlord Shizu. These characters are big time units, or at least when they came out, and some of them still are. And the fact that we're now at the level where free-to-play units are getting the alt swap ability, even a single alt swap, it just means that it allows you to build the team a little bit more efficiently, and it gives people options who may or may not have those other premium alt swap units. So he's got the alt swap, and on top of that, he's got a stacking pierce resistance debuff, which, normally the alt swaps, they have gauge increases or something. So what does Shizu do on hers? I think it's like 10% or something. Yeah, 10% for all gauges on greens. Blanc should be the same, but for blues. So actually, like, if you're already using orb changes, then you probably already have this skill activated, this second effect, so it's not going to stack. So Gobta, by having a different effect entirely, stacking pierce resistance, means that, one, you will do more damage if you are on a pierce-focused team, and it doesn't override and overlap with any other 10% buff that's going on, especially since the new Benimaru has a 30% buff going on. So that's very good. And then he's got a green to blue orb change. And oh look, he's got the 10% blue gauge increase. So there you go. These do not overlap. You could orb change and you can alt swap, and you'll get all four of these effects combined active at the same time. He's a single target, 470%. Gives us extra counterattack power. I think all free-to-play units, their secondary effects are pretty ass. But again, they're not here to do big-time damage. They're here to be useful as supports, and Gobta will definitely do that. Valor trait nerfs greens, cool, whatever. And then his actual trait, 4 combo of blues, gets counterattack rate, 6%. Again, not a big deal. And then he gets extra counterattack power with Shuna. Again, does not matter. We are not on a counter-focused team. This is not Earth 2.0. So, let's go ahead and take him into a couple events. First with the Tempest Elite team, which we've already seen him on a lot, so we'll kind of rush through it. And then we'll put him on some older teams and, see how viable he makes them. Alright, so we're going to run the Tempest Elite team with second anniversary Hinata for the element buff, since that's something that we're missing, since now Benimaru's got the physical buff that I was using Fountain of Wisdom Rimuru for. But if we look at Gobta, just straight off the bat, in beatdown battle, he's got that 19% EP enhancement, which gives him 11.3k defense, not with a same element support unit, which is crazy. So if we were to put, Shizu on him, 12.2 for a free-to-play unit, and your entire purpose is to orb change and not die, I mean, I'm pretty happy with that, okay? I'm doing something wrong here. But Gobta, I think, is going to be a fantastic unit for all players, no matter, what level you are, because everyone needs an orb change and everyone needs an alt swap. And by making him free-to-play, it gives him just so much viability. Alright, so turn 1, it's built for his orb change, so, excellent. Most beatdown battles, if not all of them, are built on the free-to-play orb changing mechanic, since all free-to-play units for the past how long have had an orb change of some sort. So, it's very nice, and it makes things very easy to work with, because now you're not dependent on pulling the summonable unit to get the turn 1 orb change. Sometimes you still are, sometimes, but I think they've moved away from that recently and made it a little bit more available to people who don't have access to those units. That's not a Benimaru hand, that's a Shuna hand, isn't it? Right. I also forgot to bring in Hinata. Oh well, it is what it is. So, yeah, okay, so we'll use Shuna's orb change, the big ol' convert here, boom, and then we'll give Shuna her ult right here, and then we'll kind of just run like this, because there's no reason not to. 1, 2, 3, 4, there we go. Okay, but I think the thing that makes Gobta really, really superior in my mind is that he is not restricted like a lot of the free-to-play units have been. So, Nabe, for the Overlord collab, she had, one orb change, that was fine, the blues to greens, and then her second orb change was only Stern of Spirit, right? So if you were not on Stern of Spirit, that orb did not get changed. The same thing with Wielder of Magic Ranga. If you were not on Wielder of Magic, your orb did not get changed. And they could have done the same thing with Gobta and made it like only a Tempest Elite ult gets swapped, and that would have been really, really bad. On this team, like, we're giving it to the highest attacking unit, which should be a Tempest Elite unit, so, I mean, there are ways to get around it, but at the same time, it's like, if you're not going to bring him on that, and you limit this skill, it's gonna take down his usefulness by a ton. And that's really not what we want to do on a premium team, especially a team that's this underpowered, right? We want to make sure that people can get the orb, the ult swapped, and it doesn't really matter who you are in case you have to take Gobta onto a different team, onto the Water 2.0 team, onto the Light 2.0 team, or Light 3.0 team. Making it unrestricted, I think, was the best option they could have done. So now let's get you out of here. I think Benimaru will get it. Okay, good. Benimaru did get it. Alright. And we'll send these follow-up attacks. Hinata does not have the Pierce, Benimaru does, and he's weak point, so we'll go ahead and send him last. 8,300 through the guard. That's not bad. And then we have the follow-up attacks. Alright. So we've used Gobta once already to orb change, and looks like we're going to do it again. Excellent. Alright, so again, we can alt swap Benimaru away, and then we could use Gobta's orb change again, and we'll still be looking quite pretty, and we'll put another stack of the pierce resistance down on the enemy, and that'll just help us do more damage. Alright, so his pierce buff is still good for one more turn, so we'll go ahead and leave him up front, just so he can do a little bit more damage. We'll send this on Milim, I guess. Yeah, and then next turn we'll be ready to go. Okay, so I mean, Gobta, good. He's doing what I want him to do, and that is utility. I don't need Gobta to be Big Daddy damage. We can bring other units to help people do damage. There's plenty of supports out there at this point. We need someone who can bring usability to free-to-play teams, to teams that don't have a lot of the summonable premium options that I talked about earlier. We need those units. Alright, so Gobta has an orb, thank God. He goes away. We'll bring Hinata in, use her buff. Boom. And then... oh, I'm 5 points shy. Are you kidding me right now? I am 5 points shy. Damn it. Alright, well, hold on. Alright, we're back. We have put the element buff on Shuna already, so we don't have to be short on points now. Unfortunately, Benimaru did lose his Pierce buff because I didn't swap him out last turn, but we're here to AoE with Shuna first off. So let's go ahead and alt buff with the other Shuna first. Cool. And then we will bring Shuna back in for herself. Yeah, alright. And that leaves us with enough points to then use the Benimaru buff. And that leaves us 35. And there's not much we can do about it, so boom. Ult damage down, let's get the follow-up attacks going. And Gobta still has gotten the 2 stacks of Pierce resistance on this run as well. We used his orb change actually quite a bit to the point where it's sealed now. But, Milim here has 10% Pierce resistance because we've used Gobta twice. And then we'll do the AoE, and then we'll do the single target against Triad and try and kill her. And then we'll try and make sure that Milim dies. Alright, so Shuna... we can watch it, whatever. So Gobta definitely proved his worth. We brought, 1, 2, 3, 4 damage support units. Hinata, Benny, Shuna, right? So, I mean, we're pretty stacked on that. And we don't have enough points to really use anything else effectively. So what we need is an orb changer. 382k. Alright, well, the follow-up will kill that. Benimaru's single target ult will kill Traya. And we can watch it too, because he's new as well. So Gobta, pretty good. Pretty good. Now we can put him on a few of the other, lower tier teams that are blue focused and get some use out of him. Oh, he didn't die. Oh well. Well, they're all gonna die anyways from the AoE. And okay, well, almost died. There we go. All right, there we go. We won. Hooray! Let's move on. All right, the Water 2.0 team, a stacking blue team, and technically we already have a green orb changer, Rimuru. But this stage isn't particularly hard, and we don't need to do 2 million damage. We need to do like 400,000 or something like that. Even less than that. So, in order to make this easier and to, lower her health down a little bit more, we're going to bring Gobta to alt swap Hinata away, and it's going to work fine, because we have Orb Changer, Orb Changer, Orb Changer, buff, 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 stacking buff. So it's like, this team is well built. It's a solid team, especially for a stage where you don't need to bring 5 different support units to really do maximum power, because the stage has 2 million HP. Alright, well, we don't have a special converter on the team, so 4 blues is what we're going to have to live with for now. Let's go ahead and take you out for Gobta, and we'll take you out for Rimuru. And we'll just send these 4, because it will be enough to get us protection gauge, and that'll give us a full 50 points, so that turn 2, we could do, hopefully, 2 orb changes with a little bit of extra skill point gain from Millum. Hopefully. Or not. Because the game hates me. Okay, well, we're gonna send these oranges then, and then we're gonna get 5 greens, and then what the hell am I gonna do there? I don't know. You son of a bitch. All right, well, at least we have Gobta and Rimuru who can take care of this, right? So Rimuru, come in for Hinata. That way you don't get attack sealed, and yeah, we'll use yours. Technically, we could have used his other skill as well. It doesn't really matter. And then you come out. We'll use Gobta's Orb Change. And we'll get a full hand of blues. And I think we'll just have to move on from here. So, Gobta. Right? You could put him on the Water 2.0 team, and there are no restrictions. Sure, we can't really benefit off of his Pierce resistance down, because this team is not a Pierce-focused team. But because we have so many orb changers giving us that 10% gauge increase, I really only care about the alt swap in this specific setting, which is exactly what we're looking for. So everything, works out pretty well. So 1, 2 full hands of blues again is what we need. We'll take Xion out now for Hinata, since she has the most orbs, and we'll get 1 more stack on. We're very close to another stack, so this full hand of blues will get us 2 next turn. And we'll be looking pretty good. We can even start sealing up and stacking the extra ult damage with Hinata, since we're going to have excess points. It's just that it does make nuking a little bit higher point cap, but as long as we can get, a lot of stacks of Millum, we'll have enough points to do so. And how are we going to do that? Well, we have an ult now, and the best way to get around that is by not having an ult anymore. So swap that away, use the orb changes, use another stack. This I think will not actually get Hinata's ult, unless we're closer than I thought. No, we need at least 1 more turn. So next turn we can just swap Shuna away, and then we can be looking pretty fine. So I mean, I like Gobta. I like that they didn't make him restricted to 1 team. I like that he has viability. I don't really like what they've been doing with the past free-to-play units, making them only really super usable in 1 team, like Diablo, Ranga, and Nabe, like we talked about earlier. Making generic free-to-play characters means that free-to-play players have options, right? They have viable free-to-play units that can still bring some of the premium aspects, I guess is how you want to call it, to teams that are not quite as powerful. Because, yeah, you summoned for an EX team, a couple months ago, but you don't have a blue orb changer, because either they didn't get one, or you just didn't get them. And now, if you're playing right now, you do have one. And it works pretty well. Okay. So alt swap that away again. And then Orb change, another stack. We got one more turn to get that, so that last crit stack we're going to hold on to. It does last for 2 turns now, and we should get, actually, all 3 of these ults. So let's get Gobta out of here. And yeah, this is how we'll go. It's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Perfect. Now we're going to have enough points to full nuke alongside that last amount of crit ceiling, which is also the last 15% that we need to get to that permanent 60% ult damage cap. And yeah, now we just need to live, which I think will be fine, unless she wants to just straight up murder Hinata or something. But now we can use Shuna's orb change, swap her out, and then bring Gobta back in, and then get another full hand of blues. And I mean, this has worked out incredibly well. And there's been really no issues here. So Gobta in for Shuna. Boom. That pulls in that blue. We'll alt swap again. We'll use his orb change. And then next turn we're going to have 300 points. 380 points almost. Yeah. We have plenty. We have plenty of points to nuke. And again, it's not like this stage needs you to do millions upon millions of damage. Alright, so 1, 2, 3, 4. Alright, cool, there we go. So one last stack for Milim, and then we'll bring in everybody else, which is just Shuna, really, because, you know, we have 2 dedicated orb changers, which makes things go very smoothly. We have another dedicated support and orb change. We have a dedicated just baseline support. And then Hinata's the DPS and also, you know, supporting-ish, because the permanent alt buff does affect everyone on the team. And there we go. We have 92 extra points left over. So we could have orb changed a little bit as well. Didn't really need to, though. So, now that the crit has been sealed, and we've lowered her pierce resistance a couple times now, 15%, so 3 times, it is what it is. But Hinata has the 60 from her permanent stacks, and then 70 from Shuna, and then we've got the skill-fused Xion putting the crit resistance down. And we're going to look just fine here. We're going to kill with this Hinata ult, and we're going to watch it, because Hinata always has some of the best looking ults. And someone on the dev team really likes Hinata. So yeah, that was pretty easy. I mean, do I need to put him on another team? I don't know. How long is this clip? How long is this video? Probably not too long. 500k. That's pretty good. I mean, you know, we have skill fusions and we had maxed everything out, but still. That's pretty good. And Gobta supported us by allowing us to have the points and the full 6 hands of blues. Pretty good. Alright, final test. Not going to be difficult. We're going to run some overpowered versions of Coleus team against the old space tempered edge. We have orb changers. We have Violet. We have Guy. They're covering a lot of it. But we don't have an alt swapper because I'm not bringing Blanc. So we're going to bring Gobta, who has more orb changing. And we're also going to bring Rimuru, who has the orb changing and the rainbow orbs. So, I mean, if we have a lot of rainbow orbs and we get an immediate ult for one of these girls, then congratulations. We can still alt swap away. So even with this very, very overpowered team for a very underpowered stage, we will still be able to make use of Gobta. Alright, got a good start. We can use Rimuru's self-convert right here, change those to blues, and then we can get the girls in here. One for Rimuru and one for Guy. And then I don't want to kill too fast, so we're going to send Gobta last. Yeah, we do a lot of damage. We do a lot of damage here. But she does get herself a little bit of guard. And now we'll see if next turn we can just get some rainbows and then nuke. Yeah, that works. That certainly works. Alright, do we have enough, though? We do. Perfect. Alright, so we'll use Gobta's orb change, boom, being effective. And then we'll bring Coleus Rimuru in here for Gobta. And then we'll convert all those to rainbows. We'll get ults for everybody, and then we'll just nuke, because we're going to do way too much damage, because this team is way too OP for this old stage. All things considered, we might kill here. Okay, maybe not. She's got all of her defense now. Still, though, not going to survive the nuke, and she's countering just because she knows she's about to die. So I guess we can just finish up, because we're going to be okay. Gobta. Fantastic free-to-play unit. The way that I would like free-to-play units to be built is by having them be very generic so you could use them on multiple teams. So avoid, devs, if you're watching, avoid making them way too restricted by being only Tempest Elite, only New Year's Blessing, only Stern of Spirit. Players don't want that. They do not want that. Yeah, let's do this. Space resistance down, ult damage up, and Jean is going to murderize this melon. And if not, then we'll follow up. But I like Gobta. I think Gobta is a top-tier free-to-play unit. He will benefit everybody who has access to get him right stat now. Unfortunately, you know, after the month of March is up, no one's ever going to be able to get him again for another probably 8 to 9 months because of how this game is run. My biggest concern, yeah, 299. Look at that. 3 turns. And Gobta helped. You cannot say that Gobta didn't help. We could have used Guy, but if we had used Guy's Orb Change, we wouldn't have had enough points to use the Rainbows on turn 2. So, proving his worth. Gobta, top tier free-to-play option. Please make sure to max him out, get him done, and you will probably use him a lot in the future. But let me know your thoughts down below in the comments on this Gobta. Do you think he is as great as I'm talking him up to be, or did you want him to be some kind of damage support like some of the other free-to-play units have been? Let me know, but that's it for me. Take it easy, and I'll see you all later.